No, even if there aren't any media to read it to, except perhaps our friends on YouTube.
You can't trust the media anyway.
Direct communication, go.
Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us on the occasion of our return to campus.
Yeah!
It's good to be back, of course. I'd like to start, though, with a moment of silence in memory of Mildred Resnick. I'm not going to go into Mrs. Rednick's contributions to this institution or the reasons that her life deserves mentioning, but I will say that the students who care for New Paltz will remember and feel her spirit, if not her name. As all of you know, we're here today following a preliminary injunction issued by Judge Lawrence Kahn of New York's Northern District Federal Court 1 week ago. The injunction included an order to the SUNY Administration on this campus to reinstate us as students forthwith. Although, of course, we're happy that Judge Kahn made such an order, we're anxious and eager to have our case heard in full so that the many facts and twists of this case can be documented and analyzed in a court of law. Mr. Sussman, who's joined us here today, will have more to say on the legal front. On the political front, I imagine there's really one question you want answered, and that's what's going to happen with the presidency. I'm prepared to answer this question here and now, and the answer is that I've asked Jessica Coleman to continue executing the presidency for the remainder of my term. I want to explain 3 reasons behind this decision, which was made mutually between President Coleman and myself. The first and most important reason has to do with the office and the person carrying out its duties. It would be difficult to imagine a better situation than to have such a powerful, buoyant, unassuming woman as Jessica Coleman executing that office during what will likely prove to be a trying semester for all of us. The presidency of the student body is the most important office on this campus. It defines the timbre and character of the year. Each president has shaped a piece of New Paltz history, some with energy and enthusiasm, some with apathy and complacence, some with unrest and upheaval, and most with some combination of those. Senator Coleman was tapped at the beginning of her tenure as Senate Chair, an office which she had only really begun to truly understand, to serve in the presidency on an interim basis. And since that time, she's faced what can only be described as a barrage of unprecedented challenges, and she has faced them without having current or former elected presidents by her side. While she's consulted with me throughout this trying time, she's had to rely on her own instincts in making crucial decisions that will shape this institution, and I think we all owe her a debt of gratitude and continued support for performing as she has. She has already earned her place in the Hall of Historic Student Body Presidents on this campus, and it would be taking too lightly this highest of offices to replace a president who's functioning so well during such a difficult time. And it's for that reason that I believe it's in the best interest of the Student Association and the entire New Paltz community that President Coleman continues to execute the office she's already begun to redefine. The second reason for this decision is to give the SUNY Administration and the student body some time to breathe and consider this controversy in which we're all embedded. When planning this occasion, most of the people that I spoke with, even friends and colleagues, including some of those in attendance here, predicted that I would have venom to unleash on the administrators who put us in this position. Instead, I'd like to take this opportunity to say that it is my belief that the students and faculty of this institution have been the victims not of evil, but of serious mistakes made by people in positions of power. We all make mistakes, and while the events of this controversy may represent some of the most significant mistakes since the botched reaction to the 1997 Women's Studies Conference, I do not intend to get in the face of the administration to confront and attack those responsible or to go on any tirades today or at any other time. While it's true that the evidence seems to clearly indicate gross misconduct by campus officials, some of which rises to the level of criminal activity, I believe that the best course of action for the Student Association, and indeed the entire campus, is to give the SUNY Administration time and room to sort it out and take whatever steps they see fit to remedy the situation. It's my hope that they will want to meet personally with myself and RJ to have a calm and affable discussion on this matter, and I stand ready to do just that. I'd like to see this issue brought back down to the campus level and openly and freely discussed among the campus community with a goal of moving forward in such a way that the state of free speech, expression, assembly, and thought is restored and strengthened. And that brings me to the third reason that President Coleman and I have reached the decision that we have. As President Coleman handles the affairs of the student government and the student body, I plan to aid her by devoting this semester to reaching out to members of the campus community, including the faculty, staff, SUNY Administration, local residents, and of course the student body. I will serve as the President's designee on the Academic Senate and the Campus Auxiliary Services Board. I'll lead the delegations wielding the electoral mandate that gave me in the spring. The President has also put me on notice that she may call upon me to join any other delegation of students this year, including those at the meetings of cabinets and in smaller meetings with administrators. I'll serve as a sort of ambassador, and it is my intention to use this opportunity to bring unity back to the relationships between the various groups on campus. Together as a community, we'll spend a semester discussing and trying to understand what free speech, expression, assembly, thought, and communication mean on a campus, and how they should be treated in our policies, curricula, and everyday conduct. Unfortunately, the state of the First Amendment on campus is quite fragile at the moment, and this comes at a cost to all parties. In order to reinvigorate its spirit, I will organize a series of bi-weekly forums on topics ranging from policies regarding assembly on campus to the diversity of views presented in course curricula. Needless to say, my advocacy will continue surrounding specific campus issues, especially the food service monopoly, the treatment of our women's studies program, our unique and draconian policy of expulsion for first and second time controlled substance possession offenses, the level of respect shown to our classified staff, the way that so-called sexual misconduct cases are handled, and other pending and important campus issues. Additionally, we also have some contemporary discussions which need our utmost attention as a community, including the future configuration of our Jacobson faculty tower, in front of which we're gathered today, our expansion to the south and what it means to the community, the renovation of our old main building, the state of our finances and the ongoing contractual issues with the athletic center, and there are a plethora of others that need our attention and need to be discussed in an open way. And finally, I think it's worth saying here and now that this iteration of exploration, our iteration, must also begin to consider and act on issues of national significance. Last night, the elected leader of our nation delivered an address from the White House Library that I imagine many of you found quite underwhelming, as did I. 3,000 people, almost all of whom were of or near college age, have given their lives in a war that even the brashest of study tells us is unjust, unsustainable, and misguided. We are the students of the information age, and it's time for us to begin flexing the muscles of the technological advances that distinguish our generation. We sit now at a crucial crossroads, not only for our own institution, but for the future of education, and I believe the very nature of the relationship between the person and the state. The status quo is such that we have delegated to certain individuals the responsibility for maintaining the system, measuring the needs and wants of society, and governing the people. In education, it means that we have an administration, in our case the state of New York, which claims authority over the affairs of this campus and acts in a way that is often blind to the desires of those affected and even callous to them on occasion. In my estimation, the information age brings with it an inevitability, and that is a radical change in the very ontos of our understanding of authority. While it makes sense for practical reasons that the delegation to government, the task of governing, would increasingly characterize the ages from the dawn of civilization through the agricultural and industrial revolutions, I believe that this paradigm is destined for replacement in the 21st century. It will peacefully and practically be replaced by individuals who feel an overwhelming sense of civic pride and decide to dedicate a portion of their energy to shaping their communities with a new approach of collaboration and consensus. And I think many such individuals are gathered here today in front of the JFT, and many more are significant voices on this campus. The seeds of this paradigm here are already visible and obvious. So I implore you to join me in the undertakings I've outlined here, namely recognizing and rallying behind our president, Jessica Coleman, reaching out to the student body, faculty, administration, staff, and local residents and sharing our vision and energy with them, taking an active role in the development of technology which will help us to peacefully assume the responsibilities currently delegated to government over the course of the next century, and finally, helping to organize bi-weekly open forums on campus to address the state of the First Amendment here. Even in this difficult time, I believe that we can proceed in a positive way, and today marks the first step. Thank you. Next, I don't know, Martin wants to be next, or Mr. Sussman?
It's frozen.